right. Good morning, peoples. Let's jump in here to Tesla and Tesla. So, what happened on Monday, the 22nd? Well, Tesla was up 5.15 from 239 to 251, and we were up 3.73 from 1610 to 1670. No shares were traded no shares were added and no trades happened. However, we went down 150,000 shares. I shouldn't say no shares were traded. There's always shares traded, but there was a net reduction in shares. So, and then they didn't put any trades on. Obviously, if your money is getting taken away a small amount, you're not going to trade. All right, well, let's go out and look at the status of the weeklies. So we've got four positions, and they're certainly laddered, starting as low as 262. So we're currently at 251, and those are 4.37% out of the money with 4 days. Now, I'm showing tomorrow after the market closes earnings. I haven't checked that, but I suspect that's still accurate. Let's see what I get when I Google it, Tesla earning. And I was showing 62 cents. Upcoming event, quarter two earnings call, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. All right. Well, can you tell me on what day? Yeah. So scheduled for July 23rd. Okay, so they should report tomorrow after market close. Well, 5:30, they're going to have their earnings call. They may come out with the earnings right after the market close. So they expected 62 cents. And then the earnings call is just a dialogue with the CFO and sometimes the CEO about, guidance, explaining the earnings, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So anyway, they go 4.37, 5.36, which is the largest amount, and then 6.3, and then way up to 282. So they must have given themselves a little bit of safety. That was the last one that traded. So maybe the thinking was if they go up 10, 11, $12 after earnings, then we want to have a little room out there. But anyway, looking pretty good. So let's take a look at our holdings, which always describes everything. Okay, so here we get to see the reduction in the synthetic, right? So when you move up, the call gets more expensive and the put gets cheaper, resulting and still a loss, but a much reduced loss. Again, down here, I'm just tracking the big one, the 31,735 contracts, not the 1350. And I could add the two together, but the other one is so small. They all are on 816, so there's a good 24, 25 days out there. All right, let's take a look at that on our graph. That looks pretty good, right? So it's coming down, coming down, coming down. Um, and there's the 150,000 shares that people sold, which represented a small point 0.3 of 1%. So you can see they went from a 60.5 million to a 24, call it. That's a big reduction, right? So let's take a look at that share count when we get to payouts. I know we still got good cash, I think $1.79 in there. And let me see real fast if the payouts, yeah, it's got the new share count. Yes, 50 million worth. Okay, so let's continue in this. So fair value is showing 1671, right? For NAV, and we close at 1670. I'd call that pretty close. So we're a penny undervalued. Run out there and buy 1 million shares. Okay, I'll get right on it. All right, so our calls don't look as well. Even though we got 4 days to go and we're trading at 251, the numbers are pretty high on these calls. I was a little surprised at them. The only one that we're really making money on, and even this one doesn't, it looks like something got messed up because we collected 532 and it's saying we can buy. Oh, that is correct. Okay, so we've captured 50%. All right, all the other ones were underwater, right? You can see that this one's almost 365, almost double, right? So that one's a minus 91%. If it was, 730 here, then it would be minus 100%. And this guy is, we collected 12 million, but we'd have to pay 19.5. But again, these go down probably $1 plus for the premium. Because look, none of these are in the money, none at all. So this one's $14 away, and yet it's 6.55. So at the close of tomorrow, it's probably going to shrink $1.20, $1.30, and then you're just going to each day that it doesn't get to 265. But remember, you have earnings, right? That factors into how they're pricing these. Um, so let's look at the payout and talk about what they could get to, how they can get hurt, how they can win, etc. So on the payout, we have $1.79 collected mainly because of this scenario, right? Mainly because of our synthetic, although we are looking at a 23 million, which is about 40 cents, right? So 23 million would be 40 to 43 cents, so that could bring this down to $1.30, but that would be a nice payout for Tesla. Since I've been tracking it, they paid $1. So it's kind of going back to the old days. Anything $1 above on a 1670 stock, that's pretty sweet. So I would be happy with that. I own a fair amount of Tesla, and I'm very bullish on Tesla in the medium and long term. Who knows? And like I said, their earnings could go really either way. Their shipments were showing large. If they can pull off good earnings, I would be impressed, but I have no thoughts on whether the earnings are going to be positive or not. So we'll just have to see on that. But bottom line is looking pretty good. So I'd love to see them move up some more. If they beat earnings, that 23 goes away, but we could get up encroaching into where we actually lose on those calls. Because remember, this is assuming we collect all that call income, right? Through M22. Let me take a look. Yeah. Well, actually, we have calls through M23, so I'm not showing the last call. Let me add that and see what that does to change. That should lower that. Yeah, it did a little bit. Okay. So nothing where you really see it here, right? These take big numbers because of the share count, guys. It takes a lot of money over here. Look what $1.79. You got to have 120 million there. If you take away that, you got to have about 80 million, right, just to get to $1.79. So anyway, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I think Tesla is looking pretty good. Earnings are going to tell us a lot too, and can change the dynamic, but I don't see us not having a good um, payout month. Okay, that's what I got for you. Have a great day ahead. Bye for now.